Welcome to The Sear Show. Join us as we dive into the dynamic world of health, wellness, mindset, and fitness with the unparalleled guidance of lifelong knowledge seekers, Sifu Rafael and Nikki Gangemi. Sifu and Nikki will unlock groundbreaking insights with extraordinary guests from around the globe. You'll get the latest holistic approaches to well-being with a sharp focus on the powerful connection between mind, body, and soul. Get ready to take the leap. It's time to embrace a brighter and healthier future with us at The Sear Show.
5, 4,
Nikki, happy Wednesday. How are you today, my friend?
Happy Wednesday, Sifu. I am excited today. How are you doing?
Well, exceptional. Every day getting a little better. And I am excited as well. We have, wow. I got to tell you, not only do I love this person that's coming on, but I also love her chair. We've spoken about that before.
Yes, it is an awesome looking chair.
So let's not waste any time. Let's bring Chloe on. Chloe, thank you so much for joining us with that amazing chair.
Thank you for having me. It's really cool to be here. And the chair's happy too.
Yeah. And I understand that both you and Nikki are basically both incredible human beings, and you share some commonalities, and I would love to hear about it as well.
We do. We're both hypnotherapists, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love it. When we come to the reality reset in our lives, in the profession that you both live in, how do we even do that?
Chloe, you want to
For
answer?
both of you.
Yeah.
How do we reset our reality? Is that the question?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that the most obvious way to reset our reality is to look for our pain points and look for those symptoms that are actually taking you away from joy, and go to the subconscious root cause using the hypnotherapy to show you what those malignant subconscious beliefs are at the root cause. And then we just turn those on their heads. I call them malignant beliefs. You can call them trauma imprints or limiting beliefs. I call them malignant beliefs. And then we rewire the mind with the new opposite empowering beliefs. So that's how I see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, working at the subconscious level is really powerful. When I think of resetting reality, one thing that I totally agree with you, and then to add to that, what I was thinking was changing the pictures that people have in their mind. You know, we're so focused on, let me take a different action, let me change my behavior. I want to release weight, so I'm going to join a gym, I'm going to get an elliptical machine, I'm going to work out. And then how they see themselves, their self-image, is totally different on the inside. So when we work with resetting reality, it's changing that at the deeper level.
Yeah.
Well, I love both your answers. And I was thinking, just pinching myself to say, oh, I'm here. I'm resetting my reality that way. But I prefer your answers.
It's fun stuff, I will say.
It really is.
Yeah.
And, like Nikki says, the mind reacts to two things: the pictures you create and the words you say to it. And so absolutely, just think of a vegan or a vegetarian. They don't have any hardship denying themselves meat or animal products because they're picturing how grotesque it is. So, you can create a new reality by deciding to create pictures in your mind that are going to move you towards a reality that you really desire.
I love that you gave that example because I'm a vegetarian. So yeah, when I think of when I think of meat, not that it's grotesque, but it's like, it's not something that I would be imagining in my mind, and like the mouth watering and all of that. So it goes back to identity, what you put after I am and how you see yourself.
Totally.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts, Sifu?
Yeah, I'm thinking here because it's so interesting. For 7 years, I became a vegetarian, not because of anything, but because the taste of meat didn't go with me. It just, one day it clicked. I was like, that doesn't taste right. And then I was somewhere else and I said, that doesn't taste right. So at the same time, and I'm Colombian, let me tell you how hard this was. I
Wow.
gave up coffee. I stopped drinking orange juice. I gave up all red meat. So I would only eat fish. And it was so strange for me because it's something that it was just part of my life. And all of a sudden it didn't taste right anymore. So I always listen to my body because my body knows best. So for 7 years, I didn't consume any of those things at all. And even now, I don't drink orange juice. I went back after 7 years for some strange reason. I was like, that smells good. Let me have some. But I went back to it, and I don't overindulge in it. I do drink coffee just basically every day, but I even gave that up, and I don't know why. It just my body said, not now.
Interesting. And why you don't even know why you gave up orange juice? You don't know. You see, this
And I
happens.
don't drink it.
You still
anymore.
don't. This happens to
I
me.
gave that up 20 years ago. 20
Wow.
years ago, and I still don't drink orange juice.
Wow. Well, I've got hundreds of oranges on my trees right now, Sifu. So
That's
they'd be
different.
useless.
No, wait. That's different. I'm talking about store containers, right? You buy in the supermarket. Fresh orange juice, oof, blows me away.
Okay.
I was in Arizona, and a friend of mine says, let's go to the backyard. I'm like, okay. And he's got 4 trees, orange trees. I'm like, where these come from? He goes, they were with the house when I bought it. And then here we are picking out these incredible oranges in Arizona, in the desert. And I'm like, this is kind of strange. And we opened some. Oh my God, were they incredible? He's like, I even have some fresh orange juice. I said, I'm in. But when I meant orange juice, I meant store-bought orange juice.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But yes, I would take some of your oranges.
Okay. You're welcome to the island of Mallorca for my oranges, Sifu.
I can't wait to be there.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Yeah.
But you know, this fresh orange juice, gorgeous. And my kids are making them frozen, ice pops from it. But this happens to me when I go off certain things. But I think it's part of kind of like energetic work, right? Because rather than, when you asked that question earlier, the answer I could have given was, well, I meditate on the feeling of how I want to feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
How I want to feel. And I get emotionally involved in that feeling. And then the next day, I will not want to do something that I habitually would have done, like have 2 coffees or, my habits will change. And I'm like, isn't that interesting? Because it's like an energetic projection. And yeah, we're changing.
Yeah.
I love how you brought up habit. I don't allow my habits to determine who I am. And this is what I mean. Every day when I put on my socks, I'm like, or my shoes or my pants or whatever I'm doing, I'm like, how did I do it yesterday? I want to do it differently today. Just the simple fact that I'm noticing that either yesterday I put on my left shoe first. Today is going to be my right one, because I don't want it to become a habit that I have no idea on. The small little changes that we do, like which sock did I put on yesterday, will allow me to look at my bigger habits so that they don't control me. I control them. And a lot of things become habitual. You get in your car, you either turn the key, push the button, put it on drive, whatever, and you just go. And a lot of times we don't appreciate the little tiny little things. Like, I know how to drive. Oh my God, I got in a car. Somebody made this. There was hundreds of people who put their hands on this vehicle so that I can benefit in the drive. So it's those tiny little moments of appreciation and gratitude. There's my camera. Pardon me.
Too much intelligence.
Yeah, I have all kinds of funky things with my camera. See, I can maneuver it around. So it's so incredible that we acknowledge that habits can make us do things that we no longer think about and we have no control. Like, oh, I'll just eat one chip. I'll just eat one cookie. I'll just have, today I'll just have that dessert. And then tomorrow you'll say, huh, that dessert didn't do anything to me yesterday, so it should be fine to have it again today. And then you keep doing that. And later on you go, whoa, how did I get to this size? So habits, be aware of them.
Yeah, because they become subconscious, don't they? Sifu, you're like the greatest gatekeeper of the subconscious mind. Don't make that a habit. That could take me somewhere I don't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was genius what you shared. That's something that, you know, I'll do or suggest to clients to start with the subtle ways. If you want to make a change in your life where maybe there's some resistance, it's like, you know, I just did this. It's so natural when washing my hands to put my left hand over my right hand. So to get off of autopilot, I'll intentionally put my right over my left. Now it feels awkward because that's not a habit for me. It's not natural,
Right.
But even something like that helps you to snap out of the hypnosis that we're already in.
Yeah, it brings you right back to the present moment, doesn't it?
That's how I set my reality, besides the pinching.
Yes, besides the binging.
What's the pinching
It's like,
about?
oh, ouch, I'm here, I gotcha.
Funny.
When we think of transforming, and if you recall when Nikki and I first started this episode, I talked about I'm getting better every day. And the reason is because I'm paying attention to what I do, to what I've done, to the people I've connected with, to every little instance of my life. It's documented here. But then the other thing is I actually document it on paper. And then I'll go back months later and review maybe what I did in October. And I'll go, I can't keep doing that anymore. It's not serving me. It's not serving my community. It's not serving my family. It's not serving my clients. And so this is why every day I look at me. Because no matter where I go, there I am, right? So I need to keep looking at that guy.
Absolutely. We bring ourselves wherever we go. I learned that years ago. I was unhappy. I was coming out of a 5-year relationship, and I was, of course, upset and a whole bunch of emotions. And it's like, I'm going to move to California. I'm going to start my life over. And I went after the acting dream, and I thought I would be happy, but I forgot I took myself with me. So those same feelings were there. I was just in a different environment.
Totally. We have more in common than I thought. We coming out of 5-year relationships and being unhappy.
Yeah.
And then going happiness now.
Yeah.
That was really my transformation, my radical awakening. I mean, see, I don't know what the listeners think and what the viewers think, but we're so intense with our personal growth, right? We live and breathe it. We're an embodiment of it. We're obsessed with it. It's, you know, and then you go out into the world and you realize, oh, there's another world out there, not with these like aficionados of personal growth. But so we all stick together and love being deep thinkers and deep feelers and contemplating everything possible. But I always knew I was a deep feeler and a deep thinker, but my real radical awakening came when I was actually abandoned while pregnant with our third. Yeah, he just disappeared with a 23-year-old from work. And I had to do a lot of deep thinking then. And, you know, I was like, my kids cannot have their self-worth affected by his abandonment. And so I realized that for that to happen, be a reality, I had to do a lot of work on myself. And then, of course, it ended up becoming my purpose work, becoming very happy doing what I do.
You found the blessing in it.
I did. I alchemized the pain, and now that's what I do for others, you see?
Yes. Totally get it.
I love it when you took the negativity and turned it into a positive outcome from your experience, so that maybe others would not go through what you went through. Yeah. And that's growth right there, right? That's an open mindset. Yeah. So many of us are stuck. We're stuck. There is no transformation because it's Groundhog Day every day.
Yeah, but I
know we just had Groundhog, right, the other day, and we don't know if it's telling the truth anymore. Why do we even acknowledge Groundhog Day anymore? February 2nd, right? Is it real here in the U.S.? I don't know what they do in Mallorca. But,
oh well, I've never heard. I mean, I know about the film, but I didn't know February the 2nd was Groundhog Day, was an actual day. No,
it's not only is it a day, but there's a belief that if the groundhog sees his shadow, he runs back underground, and we've got 6 more weeks of winter, and then vice versa. It's interesting, right? That there's that belief.
There you go. Yeah, you get to choose your beliefs too. Well, we were celebrating our dog's birthday, so we had no knowledge of this. The children
reality doesn't exist where you are.
Exactly.
Well, imagine you're the poor little groundhog, and you're coming out of your hole, right, out of your house, and there's 10,000 people looking at you. You're like, oh my God, I got to get back in there. So maybe we're messing it up. We should be far away and videotaping it. Instead, they're all like right there, like, come on out, come on, keep going. And it's like, no, you guys are scaring me. So when we rely on things outside of our control, how much control do we have?
Yeah, I just think that was such a profound moment, Sifu. Like, you know, we acknowledge this day, and there's people, you know, not everybody, but I know that there's some people who be like, 6 more weeks of winter, and that affects their mood. And then it's like, oh, spring is coming, and now all of a sudden they're happy. And then Chloe, this is not even something that is even known or acknowledged where she lives. So it's just interesting. I think that there's a lesson in there. There's a message.
Get to choose your beliefs.
You get to choose your beliefs. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that was that was the epiphany that I had in that moment. You know, I had this epiphany. There I was, pregnant, having all these obsessive thoughts about what he was doing with her, all over the world with her. And then I was like, oh, you keep thinking like this, thinking thoughts like, who's going to want me with 3 babies? What will become of my life? What's my purpose? And I could see if I carried on thinking like that, what my children would turn out like. And then I could see this other road going off, and I could see, oh, you could decide to choose that you're a great package and that the universe has amazing things in store. I mean, all this pain that you've been going through, must be compensated. I later found out that was the law of compensation, the universal law, must be compensated. And I just chose to hang on to that. You know, I didn't know how or what, but I chose to hang on to that. And sure enough, it materialized, because what you believe does tend to be materialized. So you have choice.
You do have choice.
Yeah.
By the way, I understand that you're having a free masterclass next week, and we put it up here for everybody to go and take a look at it. I love the fact that it's free, but it's also a masterclass. Now, here's the value that people don't realize. Free is not free. Free is not free. You have to spend your time, which is valued at whatever price you put on yourself. So if you take this masterclass, you need to invest in being present, pinching yourself, saying, wow, I get to be here. I get to experience this incredible masterclass that you are doing for people. Tell us for a quick second why. Well, I'm going to put it as a New York minute, right? Because I'm in New York. Why did you decide to do a free masterclass? And tell us about it.
Yeah. So because I don't know what's going on. I don't know whether it's me, but I am surrounded. Maybe it's the universe going, hello, this is your next level version of you. I am surrounded by women who are either in toxic relationships, their partners are not willing to level up, and they are going through a growth period, which is really uncomfortable, and their partners are just not willing to do that with them. Women whose partners are cheating on them, and I'm just like, God, girls, what is going on? It's like a pandemic. Like, let's level up and see what happens, right? Whether you can resolve your relationship, and you know, let's do the self-worth reset and start manifesting the life that you really deserve. We've got to really understand. I want to teach people about themselves, really, and understand that they actually have choice and a lot of control over their lives. They get to create their lives. So that's why I'm doing it for these women that just keep coming into my awareness like crazy at the moment.
I love that. I love that. And I know, Nikki, you also have a lot of free workshops and so forth. Some are paid because you need to get paid as well. Tell us about you have any workshops coming up.
Thank you, Sifu. I do. Every month I host a complimentary experience. It's workshop style, it's interactive. So be prepared to play in the playground. This month on February 20th, it's a Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, I'm doing the Focus Advantage workshop, and I'll be teaching some tools for calm, clarity, and peak performance. So I will share that Zoom registration link in the comments.
Yes, thank you. It's so important for us to give back. One of the things that every morning I ask for a download from God, and what do I need to do so that my life is fulfilled for me, but also I can touch upon my brothers and sisters and other people in the world. And he said to me, you need to help the youth, the youngsters. And I said, okay. I thought I was already doing that. He goes, no, you have to teach them how to become leaders so that they can lead the world. I said, okay, let's do it. And so therefore, I have a communication center. And so I'm going to be doing free workshops for any kids 9 to 18. And the caveat is that the parents have to be present. And that's how the kids get in for free. The parents get in for free too. But I'm not a child care center. I don't want to be taking care of their children while the parents go shopping. So it's important that the parents are present, because if they learn what their children are learning, that's going to make their children leaders. Then at home, they can continue the process of helping their children become leaders. Because so many of us, we send our children to school, and then when the kids come back, we go, how was school? Okay. What'd you learn? Nothing. So why did I send you to school? I don't know. Could you not? Well, no, you have to go to school. It's the law. Who wrote the law? And then, so we get into these conversations with the kids. But in general, if we were more invested in our children, and instead of saying how's school, okay, say, tell me something interesting that happened today. What did you have trouble with in math? What was the words that you learned in English? What scientific studies did you study in science? So when we go for a better question for our children, it's going to get them engaged a little bit more. And all of a sudden, we're changing their frame of mind when they go to school, because they go, oh, mom or dad, they're going to ask me these questions. I better pay attention. Right? So all of a sudden, this is what we need to do as parents. And I do that with my own. I have two boys, 20 and 20. Actually, one's 24, the other one's about to, in June, he's going to be 21. And it's very interesting because they still try to tell me, I'm okay. I'm like, well, tell me, how are you okay? Right? So we still have to ask those engaging questions. What are your thoughts?
And you're teaching them that. It's a great model, right? Because like you were saying, the answers that we get, the quality of the answers that we get are in direct proportion to the quality of questions. So let's ask outcome-oriented questions that are focused on what we want. So I think it's awesome that you're doing that. You're teaching them that at a young age, Sifu, starting at 9 years old.
Yeah.
So
when I teach go ahead, because you have 3 children, Chloe.
3. Yeah. So mine are 7, 8, and 10. So, and they're still quite, forthcoming with what they've been up to the whole car journey today. They're just fighting over who's going to eat next, right? But yeah, I mean, when they show you a drawing, it's asking, so tell me about your drawing, rather than, oh, that's nice, I like that. Just tell me about it, expand on it, and asking them in a way that they do have to expand.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Do you know what, Sifu? I just realized that when I shared the link for my masterclass, I shared the StreamYard link to get into your studio for this meeting. So you might have people transit people.
I won't let them in. I won't let them in. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Because I just pressed paste, silly me. So I've now put the right one in our private chat. Sorry about that. That's hilarious.
I noticed that, and I said, "Oh, she must be doing this class on StreamYard."
On StreamYard.
No, that's me inviting
so
the
this
world.
Is the correct one, right? This is the correct one.
Thank
So
you. Comments, so.
Jimenez-Peters.com/masterclass. Go there, because if you come through the StreamYard, I'm not letting you.
We won't.
You didn't pay as much as Chloe did. Chloe paid so much money to be here with us today that she just wants to share the wealth. She wants to share the wealth. Thank you, Chloe, for that. I also have, because as an entrepreneur, I run several different types of businesses, and one of them is a martial arts business. When I do teach the class, I ask the teens and the adults at the end of class, any questions? Nothing. 0. And so, because they're not used to asking questions, they'll ask me questions separately, but they don't understand the value of asking questions after we've all shared an experience, because it helps another person. So when none of them say anything, I go, whew, thank God, because I have 0 answers for you. And then they look, right? I'm like, yeah, if you ask no questions, how could I answer? And
Mhm.
I'm not a mind reader, right? And so it's important for us to understand that communication, great communication, is about the questions we ask and then the silence we set up afterwards. So we truly engage with the listening aspect of it.
Yeah, the silence is key. Being comfortable to just kind of sit in the pause and give the other person a chance to access the information and then give you the question or the answer.
I've been known to be quiet for 2 to 3 minutes, and people are like, is he still there?
That's a long time, I will say, 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah. And my kids, when I pause and there is a silence between in an adult conversation, my kids will go, well, that was an awkward silence. And I'm like,
Mhm.
wasn't awkward for me.
Right, because you're used to it. It's more
Yeah.
normalized for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think about the space that we can give someone when we allow them to think before they answer. Because the question will be going in their head over and over and over. And then they go, "Ah, I got it." But if we ask a question and then ask another question and then keep going and then talking and talk, all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute, I didn't even process the first question. I didn't even process it at all. And now I got to hurry and give you an answer. Instead of saying, let me think about that for a second. It gives them the space to give you a better answer.
Mhm.
Very true. Yeah. To think
Very
before we
true.
speak. Mm.
Yeah. Have you ever said something without thinking and then you regretted it because you didn't actually mean to say that?
How often do we do that?
Yes. Yeah. So it's
I love when somebody says, I didn't mean to say that. Wait a minute. But you did.
you did.
But you did.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, now you're making me think about your answer.
Yeah, that could motivate someone to just be uncomfortable with the pause. So you can think about
True.
what you're going to say and say it the way you really mean. Mm-hmm.
Chloe, I do have a question for you. And I know you were going to talk about hormones and so forth. What does hormonal healing mean for you? Or what could it mean for us?
Well, I'm really passionate about helping women understand that actually their shift in hormones is their innate wisdom. And our hormones are like a truth serum, and they will show you the unhealed trauma, the pain of the past, the limiting beliefs holding you back, right? But we live in this really patriarchal society that has made us hate on our hormones. We've been calling it the curse, right? Our menstrual cycle. And actually, guess what? It's your innate wisdom. And I've been specializing in premenstrual dysphoric disorder for around 4 years now. I didn't know what it was. But when I learned about it, I realized I'd been suffering with it from the age of 14 with the onset of my menstrual cycle. And then, I suffered with depression, with rage, with chronic fatigue syndrome. And these are just symptoms of these malignant beliefs that you picked up in childhood, because we do pick up most of our beliefs before we're even 7 years old. And that creates your perception, and your nervous system is activated according to your perception. So things like depression and dissociation, they're just a freeze response. Anger and anxiety, that's just a fight or flight response. So we don't need to fear these things. We just need to go to the subconscious root of the symptoms and transform the subconscious blueprint that is creating that. We go back in the hypnotic brain state. We are able to go back in time and change the meaning we made about ourselves in certain situations when we were helpless, dependent children. And our hormones, people are like, with premenstrual dysphoric disorder or mood disorders, for half the month, their life is hijacked. They feel like they're going crazy because they don't understand. And, you know, the medical world, they'll just give you pills to numb everything, but that's no life. People don't like the side effects of those. And actually, you're missing out on a real gem. You're missing out on actually turning your pain into purpose, actually transforming the stuff that is being shown to you cyclically as a woman, and really trying to wake you up to your worth and power.
I got to tell you, I find women to be so strong, truly do. When you're so young and all of a sudden your body starts to change in a way that you don't understand. You're going through pain. You're going through the menstrual cycle, which is beyond what I can imagine, right? As a young man, maybe my voice changed, right? Maybe hair grew where it was not supposed to. I was like, what is going on here, right? But that was not painful. It wasn't painful, right? It happens to both men and women where hair doesn't grow as it's supposed to. But all of a sudden, where young ladies are going through this pain of this incredible pain that I could never imagine. And then we're supposed to tell them, why are you behaving like that? What's wrong with you? Instead of, as a male, to say, I'm sorry you're going through that. How can I be of help? And then I love what you talked about, that once we get through that a little bit, that we need to learn to understand that the pain is going to be there. And we learn to cope with it. Because what I've seen is I've seen people use that pain as an excuse to get away with things. Instead of using the pain to say, look how powerful I am. And I'm not weak because of it. If anything, I'm strong. And that's when I see some women who you could never, ever, ever tell that they were going through the menstrual cycle, ever, right? I have some women that work for me who are vibrant all the time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're so beautiful, because they never show that pain. If anything, they show their strength. So thank you for sharing it that way.
Bless you. And I think that the pain also is created by the fear that is projected upon us. Well, actually, you know, for most of us, it was kind of a taboo subject. Nobody educated us on it. And we grew up maybe hearing that it was the curse rather than teaching us, actually, do you know what? It's a renewing every month. It's an opportunity for renewing, for growth, for shedding what is no longer required. I mean, for example, you know, in the menstrual blood, just to get a bit gory for a moment, we're seeing waste, we're seeing microplastics, it's an opportunity every month to get rid of the toxins, actually. So when you come into this thing at 14 years old and you're hearing, well, you know very little, there's going to be fear involved. And plus the fact that the beautiful hormones will show you all the unhealed stuff that needs you to lean into, slow down and lean into and transform, get curious about it. You know, we've got to go back to this knowing of our innate wisdom, and magic happens when we do, actually.
Wow.
It's accepting, right?
Yeah, it's just understanding and accepting and leaning into it. And, you know, even just the simple thing like understanding that in your menstrual cycle, you have 4 seasons and you have different needs in those seasons. And, you know, you can ask your partner, in this season, you can support me by doing X, Y, Z. I'd really appreciate it, you know. But we don't respect that. We don't honor that. We keep going with this real masculine need to do all the time without really honoring the wisdom that really could come through, all the beautiful creativity and ideas. Yeah, we stay in these stress responses, trying to do and keep up, right?
Mm.
And that blocks the creativity.
Yeah. I was just thinking, Chloe, as you were talking, it would have been so nice to have that frame back when I was 12, the first time I experienced it. Because it's, I see it through different eyes, listening to the words you use to describe it, whereas, the other way, there was like this embarrassment, like, don't tell anyone. I don't want anyone to know. This is so embarrassing, right?
Yeah.
Because just the way it was taught, the way it was framed, and it changed your whole reality based on how you learn about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, the shame associated to it. It's mad, isn't it, really?
Mm-hmm.
What bothers me is when men put women down because they're going through that time, and they'll say, "Are you on the and they go like that instead of supporting the beautiful person in front of them, right? And saying, hey, how can I help, instead of yelling or being angry or all of these things. And it also goes for the women to understand that they're putting themselves down when they act a certain way, because if they have a conversation with their partner or the person who may be saying something negative, and say, hey, listen, right now I'm going through something. I don't mean to be whatever you think I am, but this is what I'm going through. How can we work it out? Right? That's just, I just hate seeing when somebody puts somebody else down in any way.
Yeah, and that's really lack of understanding and lack of education about it, isn't it? Because the woman doesn't have a clue that her stuff's coming up. She's all righteous and egoic, and the man is like judging that, and so you're not going to get anywhere. No one's extracting any growth out of that.
Yeah, and that's where awareness comes in, right? And the conversation that we're having, because if someone doesn't know to ask that question because it was never modeled for them, how would they know? But learning, I can ask, how can I support you right now? Then they're more likely to do it because they have an example, another way.
I didn't even know we were going to get into this conversation. I'm so happy we did.
How about that?
Because it's the questions, right? It's the questions, and allowing somebody the time to listen and then be able to explain or clarify the question that you had. So many times I ask a question with another question, or I answer a question with a question because I'm looking for clarity before I can give you the final result.
Yes. Clarifying questions are important before we go in for the answer.
My granny always said, never be afraid to ask. And I live by that.
That's a good lesson to live by. Yeah, it's the key for what I just thought of, is that it keeps you out of assuming, because it's easy for us to just assume based on our past experience. So if you just ask, you stay open, leading from curiosity.
Right. I love it when somebody says, I have a stupid question. I said, well, then I can't help you because I don't have stupid answers. I said, but why don't you take a minute and ask me a smart one?
Yeah.
And they're like, at first they're like, you're not going to answer me? I'm like, I didn't say that. I said, don't phrase it that way. Because to me, no question is stupid. But the fact that you said it's a stupid question leads me to believe that I shouldn't even pay attention to the question. Right. So let's rephrase what you're saying and just ask the question.
Yes. Our words are powerful, right? Just changing the words we use could reset our reality. It can be so easy.
Super easy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm loving this conversation. Thank you both for being so insightful as a male, right? for you both to be able to shine some light that I've had ideas, but I will never be able to experience what you both have gone through or will continue to go through. And so many people out there. What I would suggest is that that portion of that conversation where Chloe talked about what happens to a young lady should be listened by young ladies because it will help them understand that they're not alone. They're not alone. Every mother, grandmother, great grandmother, women hundreds of years ago, cave women went through this, right?
Right.
So we need to understand that they're not alone, and we need to be there for them and support them in every step of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually think that the tribes had this wisdom, you know, and it's just the society we live in have denied us that wisdom as women, and we've got to go back to basics and really get just honor the needs and understand ourselves, because there's great suffering otherwise if you don't understand yourself. It's just understanding. You know, when you think as a 14-year-old suffering with chronic fatigue, I did not want to get out of bed. I was not going to school for half the month. And there was really, if we'd have been educated, we could have transformed that pain into something really amazing, and I could have been more than functional, you know. So, you know, we've got to realize that we're very powerful beings with great innate wisdom, and just lean in and look for it. It's all worth it.
Oh, powerful.
Well said.
Well, guess what time it is? We have come to the closing of the show. What a great show. Thank you, ladies. What I'd love to do right now is give you 30, 45 seconds. Tell us about, I'm going to throw your website across the bottom, Chloe. Tell us how people can reach you and what can they expect when they do.
Yeah, do go to my website. There's loads of information on there about women's cycles and transformation and the subconscious mind, Jimenez-Peters.com. And follow me on Instagram as well. You'll find me at Chloe Jimenez-Peters. And don't forget to join my free masterclass on February the 13th. I think it's 1 p.m. PST time. The Self-Worth Reset Masterclass. And it's also going to be Galentine's Day. So it's a great day for us women to celebrate our relationship with ourselves on this day, because that's the most important relationship you can have. Work on that one, and then everything else follows.
Love it. Love it.
Oh, I love that. Galentine's Day.
We have Valentine's on the 14th. So
Yes. It's the
Nikki,
Eve.
you're up, my dear.
I'm up. Yeah. So you can, nikkigangemi.com is my website. I have information on there. And even better is to follow me on the different social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. I provide mental fitness tips through different videos, just helping you to level up your self-image and improve the way that you talk to yourself or with yourself so you can get better outcomes in your life.
Love it. Love it. By the way, Donna Scola Gangemi.
That is my mother.
Oh, we love your mom. We love your mom. Hi, Mom. Love it. Love it. And I'm Sifu Rafael. Mine is really simple. You can email me, sifu@speakingprowess.com. Speaking Prowess is my website. My goal is to help everyone around the world learn to communicate at a higher level. That's my goal. And who to better start with than our youngsters? Don't get me wrong. I still work with CEOs, C executives, and so forth. But my passion is to get everyone from the janitor to the CEO speaking eloquently. That's me.
Love it.
Thank you, ladies. What an incredible show. Truly appreciate you. Everybody, do me a favor, share this show. What a great show it has been. And when I'm embraced by two beautiful women, I think they embraced me.
Yes, we do.
I am thrilled. Ladies, God bless. Have an incredible rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Okay.